The Orbital Defense Station Sentinel-7 was usually a quiet post. Lieutenant Maya Chen had spent the last 3 years staring at sensor readings that rarely showed anything more interesting than the occasional solar flare or passing comet. She preferred it that way. Quiet meant safe. That changed on an otherwise unremarkable Tuesday. "Lieutenant, I'm picking up something strange," Ensign Rodriguez called from his monitoring station. His voice carried an edge Maya hadn't heard before. Maya moved across the command deck, her magnetic boots clicking against the metal floor. "Define strange, Ensign." Rodriguez's fingers flew across his holographic interface. "It's coming from the Arcturus sector, beyond our farthest colony. The signature doesn't match anything in our database." The main view screen flickered to life, displaying a pulsing wave pattern that seemed to shift and change even as they watched. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. 15 years in the United Earth Defense Force had taught her to trust her instincts, and right now they were screaming danger. "Run a full spectrum analysis and send the data to Earth Command. Priority Alpha." Rodriguez looked up, his face pale. "Priority Alpha? But that's reserved for imminent threats to human survival." "I know." Maya's eyes never left the screen. "Just do it." Commander Elena Soto stood before the United Earth Defense Council, her dress uniform uncomfortably tight around her neck. The chamber was imposing by design, a vast circular room with seats rising in concentric rings around a central platform. 75 of the most powerful humans in the solar system stared down at her, their faces grim. "Commander Soto," General Harris began, his voice echoing in the chamber, "your report states that these objects are approaching our territory at nearly half the speed of light. Is that correct?" Elena nodded. "Yes, sir. We've detected 27 distinct vessels, each approximately the size of Manhattan Island. They're maintaining perfect formation despite their velocity, which suggests advanced propulsion and navigation systems far beyond our capabilities. And you're certain they're not responding to communication attempts?" "We've tried every frequency, every known language, and even basic mathematical sequences. Nothing." Director Wong of the Science Division leaned forward. "Commander, what's your assessment? Are they hostile?" Elena took a deep breath. 3 days ago, they encountered Mining Outpost 6 at the edge of the Arcturus sector. It was a small facility, just 23 people. She tapped her datapad, and horrific images appeared on the council screens. This is what remained afterward. The outpost wasn't just destroyed. It was dissected. So was everyone inside. A heavy silence fell over the chamber. "How long until they reach Mars colony?" asked General Harris finally. "At current velocity, 7 days. Earth in 12. The general exchanged glances with the other council members. Elena saw fear in their eyes, but also resolve. "Commander Soto," the general said, "how familiar are you with Project Titan?" Elena blinked. "Sir, that's just a myth. The Titan program was theoretical, never implemented." General Harris stood. "That's what most people believe, Commander. But sometimes the best way to keep a secret is to hide it in plain sight as a legend." He pressed a button on his console, and the room darkened as a new image appeared, showing massive humanoid structures buried beneath the Martian surface. "The Titans were built 150 years ago, during the colony wars," General Harris continued. "They helped us win when we were on the brink of extinction. Afterward, they were deemed too powerful, too dangerous to keep active. So we buried them on Mars and classified their existence beyond top secret." Elena stared at the image, her military mind already calculating possibilities. These machines, they could stand against the alien fleet. Each Titan stands 90 meters tall and carries enough firepower to level a small continent. "But they're more than weapons, Commander." The general's voice softened. "They're sentient in their way. A merger of human consciousness and machine intelligence. The original pilots uploaded their minds before they died. If they exist, why haven't we activated them already?" Elena demanded. Because we can't. Not without new pilots who can bond with the Titan consciousness. The neural compatibility requirements are extremely specific. Out of the billions of humans alive, only a handful might be compatible with each Titan. Understanding dawned on Elena. And I'm one of them. The most compatible candidate we found for the command Titan, Oranos, Director Wong confirmed. But we need 6 pilots total. We've identified potential matches, scattered throughout the colonies. General Harris fixed Elena with a steady gaze. Commander Soto, we're activating Project Awakening. Your mission is to gather these candidates and reach the Mars facility within 5 days. If you fail, humanity falls. The Ares, a military transport vessel, broke atmosphere 20 minutes later with Commander Elena Soto at the helm. Her 6-person team had been briefed and equipped in record time, each chosen for specific skills. Their mission parameters were simple on paper: locate 5 individuals across the solar system and bring them to Mars, willing or not. First target is on Luna. Elena informed her team as they prepared for lunar descent. Dr. Kai Zhang, quantum physicist. According to his profile, he's been working at Armstrong Research Base for the past 3 years. Lieutenant James Walsh, her security specialist, scrolled through Zhang's file. Says here he was rejected from the Defense Force pilot program because of psychological incompatibility with military hierarchy. Sounds like a real charmer. We don't need him to be charming, Elena replied. We need him to be compatible with a 90-meter death machine. 2 hours later, Dr. Zhang sat across from Elena in the Ares conference room, his narrow face twisted with disbelief. Let me understand this correctly, he said slowly. You want me to merge my consciousness with a sentient war machine that's been dormant for a century and a half, then use it to fight an alien armada that vastly outclasses any human technology. And this is somehow not a joke. Elena slid her datapad across the table, showing him the images from mining outpost sticks. Zhang's face paled. We estimate less than a 20% chance of surviving the bonding process, Elena said bluntly. If you succeed, you'll never be entirely human again. Parts of the original pilot's consciousness will become intertwined with yours. Zhang stared at the images for a long moment. When do we leave? The next 3 days passed in a blur of planetfalls, tense confrontations, and hurried explanations. Elena's team collected their targets one by one. Captain Sofia Mendez, a veteran cargo pilot with unparalleled spatial awareness, was found on Callisto Station. She volunteered immediately, without hesitation. Darius Freeman, a construction engineer working on the Venus atmospheric platforms, initially tried to escape but surrendered when Lieutenant Walsh demonstrated that resistance was futile. The twins, Aisha and Malik Carter, former child prodigies now working as independent drone programmers in the asteroid belt, demanded to know if they could be assigned to paired Titans. Elena couldn't give them guarantees but promised to try. As the Ares approached Mars, Elena studied the files of her reluctant crew. 6 strangers, each brilliant in their own way, each flawed and human. None of them soldiers, except for her. None of them prepared for what awaited them. Commander, her pilot called over the intercom. We're receiving a priority transmission from Earth Command. The message was brief and devastating. One of the alien vessels had broken formation, accelerating toward Mars. Estimated arrival, 18 hours. They were running out of time. The Titan facility was buried beneath Olympus Mons, hidden for generations under the largest volcano in the solar system. As their shuttle descended into a concealed hangar, Elena got her first glimpse of the place where humanity's last hope had slumbered. General Harris greeted them personally, his hologram flickering slightly from the transmission delay between Earth and Mars. Commander, we've initiated the awakening protocols. The Titans are powering up now. The bonding chambers are prepared. Show them to us, Zhang demanded. The general nodded, and a massive blast door slid open, revealing a cathedral-like chamber beyond. Elena's breath caught in her throat. They stood in rows, 6 colossal figures towering almost to the ceiling of the enormous cavern. Each was different. One heavily armored with thick plating like ancient samurai armor, another sleeker with blade-like appendages, a third bristling with what appeared to be weapon systems. Despite being machines, they somehow possessed a distinct presence, an aura of dormant power that made Alina's skin tingle. The original Titans, General Harris said softly. Aranos, the commander. Hyperion, the warrior. Thea, the scout. Cronus, the defender. And the twin Titans, Rhea and Phoebe, designed to function in perfect synchronicity. Zhang stepped forward, his eyes fixed on the sleekest Titan. That one. Thea, she's mine, isn't she? I can feel her watching me. Alina felt it too, a strange pull toward the central Titan, Oranos. Its massive head was turned slightly downward, as if examining the humans that had disturbed its long slumber. Though it had no recognizable face, just a smooth faceplate with glowing sensor arrays, she could have sworn it was studying her specifically. The compatibility is mutual, the general confirmed. The Titans are already responding to your presence, beginning the preliminary neural alignment. But I must warn you, the full bonding process is excruciating. Your minds will be torn apart and rebuilt. Captain Mendez stepped forward, staring up at the largest Titan. Cronus, she whispered, the defender. We don't have time for a more gradual approach, Alina said. The alien ship will reach Mars in less than 18 hours. How long will the bonding take? Normally, weeks of preparation followed by a 3-day bonding process. We're compressing it to 6 hours. The twins exchanged worried glances. What are the survival odds with a compressed timeline? Malik asked. The general's hologram flickered. Unknown. It's never been attempted. Elena looked at her team. These strangers brought together by cosmic chance and terrible necessity. Any of you want to back out? Now's the time. No judgment. No one moved. Then let's begin, she said, turning toward Oranos. We have a world to save. The bonding chamber resembled a medical pod surrounded by a web of cables and neural interfaces. Alina lay inside, stripped down to a form-fitting bodysuit covered in sensors and neural connectors. Through the transparent cover, she could see the other pods where her team underwent the same preparation. Dr. Eliza Nato, the facility's lead scientist, spoke through the communication system. Commander, the process has 3 phases. First, your mind will be mapped completely. Then, Oranos will initiate contact. Finally, the merging begins. It will feel like drowning and burning simultaneously. Many subjects in the original program described it as death and rebirth. Alina closed her eyes. I understand. Begin when ready. Neural mapping commencing in 3, 2, 1. Pain exploded behind Alina's eyes as thousands of microscopic interfaces activated across her scalp and spine. Her body arched involuntarily, muscles spasming as the machine cataloged every neuron, every synapse, every memory. Through the haze of agony, she heard screaming from the other pods. She forced her eyes open long enough to see Zhang convulsing, blood trickling from his nose. Then came the second phase. Hello, Alina. The voice wasn't audible. It resonated directly in her mind, ancient and powerful. Masculine but not male, with harmonics that no human vocal cords could produce. I am Aranos. I have waited a very long time for you. Images flashed through her consciousness. Battles fought across the solar system, explosions blooming in vacuum, the faces of long-dead soldiers and civilians. The memories of the original pilot, a woman named Admiral Sarah Chen, who had given her mind to the machine over a century ago. We are compatible, you and I. Your mind fits the patterns I require, but the merging will change you. Parts of Sarah will become part of you. Parts of you will be lost. Will I still be me? Elena managed to think through the pain. You will be more. You will be us. The third phase hit like a supernova. Elena's consciousness shattered into fragments. each piece burning as it was examined, reformed, and integrated with the alien intelligence of Oranos and the ghostly presence of Admiral Chen. She felt herself dissolving, identity slipping away like water between fingers. "Hold on to your core, Elena," the Titan urged. "Your determination, your duty, your compassion. These define you. Keep them." Elena focused on those aspects of herself, clinging to them as the rest of her mind was torn apart and reconstituted. The pain crescendoed until she thought death would be preferable, then suddenly ceased. Silence, darkness, peace. Then awareness bloomed, but not in the limited way of human senses. She could feel the electromagnetic fields of Mars flowing around her. She could detect the gravitic anomalies of Phobos and Deimos orbiting above. And she could sense the approaching alien vessel, now just 14 hours away. Elena opened her eyes, both her human eyes and the vastly more sophisticated sensor arrays of Oranos. She was still herself, but also so much more. "We are synchronized," came the thought, neither fully hers nor fully the Titan's. Around her, the other paws were opening. John rose unsteadily, a trickle of dried blood on his chin, but a strange new awareness in his eyes. The twins emerged supporting each other, moved in perfect unison. Freeman and Mendez stood silently, adapting to their new dual existence. They had survived the bonding. But the real test was yet to come. General Harris's hologram appeared before them, his expression a mixture of relief and urgency. "Commander Soto, status report." Elena's voice emerged strange to her own ears, resonating with new harmonics. "Bonding complete, General. All pilots survived. Thank God. The alien vessel has accelerated again. ETA now 12 hours. The rest of their fleet continues toward Earth." Elena looked at her team, these humans who were now something more than human. "Then we have 12 hours to prepare for combat." "We are ready," Orano's voice echoed in her mind. "We have always been ready." "Prepare the launch bay," Elena commanded. The Titans are awakening. The Titans emerged from their century-long tomb into the rusty Martian twilight, each step causing tremors that registered on seismographs halfway across the planet. 6 colossal figures, ancient weapons awakened from slumber, now piloted by humans who were no longer entirely human. Elena, or rather, the being that was now a fusion of Elena Soto and Oranos, stood at the front, her Titan form towering 90 meters above the red desert. She could see everything, feel everything through the machine's enhanced senses. The cold Martian atmosphere against her metal skin, the subtle gravitational pull of Phobos overhead, the electromagnetic signatures of the colony's defense systems coming online in response to their movement. And beyond, approaching rapidly through the void, something vast and terrible. "They're coming," Elena thought, the words echoing through the neural link that connected all 6 Titans. "I need status reports from everyone." Kaijan responded first, his consciousness now melded with Thea, the Scout Titan. His voice in the link carried traces of the machine's influence, precise, analytical, faster than human thought. Neural synchronization at 86% and climbing. Weapons systems operational. Sensor arrays functioning beyond expected parameters. "I can feel everything." A hesitation then. "There are memories here, Elena, from the original pilot. Dr. Amara Okafor. We fought in the colony wars. I remember dying." "Focus, Zhang," Elena commanded. "We all have ghosts in our heads now. Don't let them distract you." The twins, Aisha and Malik, moved their paired Titans in perfect synchronicity, testing the limits of their new bodies. The machines, Ria and Fui, were designed for close-quarters combat, more lightly armored than the others, but impossibly fast. As Elena watched, they executed a series of moves that should have been impossible for structures so massive, their movements fluid like dancers. "The aliens will reach firing range in 40 minutes, Sofia Mendez reported through Cronus, the Defender Titan. Her consciousness had merged more completely than the others. Alina could barely distinguish Sophia's personality from the machines anymore. Mars colony has evacuated to the emergency shelters. The orbital defense grid is online, but analysis indicates it will be ineffective against the alien vessel. Then we're the only line of defense, Alina replied. She turned her attention to Darius Freeman, who had been silent since awakening in Hyperion, the warrior titan. Freeman, status. For a moment, nothing. Then, something's wrong. There's resistance. Hyperion is fighting me. Alina focused her sensors on Freeman's titan. Hyperion was indeed moving strangely, its massive frame shuddering occasionally, power fluctuations rippling across its surface. The original pilot, Alina realized, Colonel Darius Hayden, known for his aggression, his unwillingness to retreat. The neural pattern is rejecting Freeman's more cautious nature. I can handle it, Freeman insisted, though his titan trembled visibly. Just give me time to assert control. Time was the one thing they didn't have. The alien vessel had been detected crossing the orbit of Deimos, Mars' outer moon. It would reach them in minutes. Battle formation, Alina commanded. Zhang, take point on reconnaissance. Twins, flank positions. Mendez, create a defensive perimeter around the colony. Freeman, I'll hold the center with you. Freeman's voice was strained but determined. The 6 Titans moved into position on the vast Martian plain, their towering forms casting long shadows in the setting sun. Through Arano's advanced sensors, Alina could now see the alien vessel clearly. It was unlike anything human minds had conceived, an impossibly complex structure of interlocking geometric shapes that seemed to exist partly in dimensions beyond normal space. Its surface rippled with energy patterns that defied analysis, and it moved with a precision that suggested either impossibly advanced technology or a complete disregard for the laws of physics as humans understood them. It's beautiful, Zhang whispered through the link. Terrifying, but beautiful. All Titans, defensive protocols active, Alina ordered. Prepare for. The alien vessel struck without warning. A beam of coherent energy, not light or plasma, but something else entirely, lanced out from the geometric nightmare and struck the Martian surface 2 kilometers from their position. The ground liquefied instantly, turning to glass, and a shockwave rolled outward that would have flattened conventional military units. The Titans stood firm, their ancient shields absorbing the brunt of the impact. Return fire, Alina commanded, and 6 Titans raised their weapon arrays simultaneously. What followed was a battle unlike any in human history. The Titans unleashed their full arsenal: plasma cannons, graviton disruptors, kinetic accelerators, weapons that had been theoretical when the machines were buried but had continued to evolve in their dormant state. The Martian sky lit up with energies sufficient to crack a small moon. The alien vessel absorbed the first barrage, its surface rippling like disturbed water. Then it split apart, separating into 7 distinct units that began to circle the Titans with impossible speed. They're trying to isolate us, Zhang reported. Classic divide and conquer. Stay together, Alina ordered. Twins, create a perimeter. Mendez, second layer defense. Zhang, target analysis. Freeman, you're with me on offense. The aliens attacked again, this time from multiple vectors. One of the smaller vessels focused its fire on the twins, bathing them in a strange radiation that caused their Titan's systems to fluctuate wildly. Something's wrong. Aisha's panicked voice came through the link. Ria's cognition systems are destabilizing. I can't. Her voice cut off as her Titan dropped to one knee, power systems failing. Aisha. Malik screamed, breaking formation to move feed to his sister's side. The aliens immediately exploited the gap, 3 vessels converging on Freeman's position. Alina watched in horror as Hyperion was surrounded, alien energy beams cutting into its armor. Freeman fought valiantly, his Titan's arms lashing out to crush one of the smaller vessels, but the others pressed their advantage. I can't hold them. Freeman's voice was strained. Hyperion wants to self-destruct. Take them with us. No. Alina commanded. Fall back to the defensive line. Mendez, give him covering fire. Cronus moved forward, its massive shield projectors creating a wall of energy that temporarily drove back the alien vessels. Freeman used the opportunity to retreat, Hyperion's armor glowing red-hot in places where the alien weapons had struck. The battle continued for 20 desperate minutes. For every advantage the Titans gained, the aliens adjusted their strategy. They were learning, adapting with terrifying speed. Worse, they seemed less interested in destroying the Titans than in testing them, probing for weaknesses. "This isn't working," Zhang said finally. "They're studying us, toying with us. We need a new approach." Elena knew he was right. The aliens were clearly technologically superior, and while the Titans were holding their own for now, they couldn't maintain this stalemate forever. Mars' colony remained vulnerable, millions of lives hanging in the balance. Then, through Arano's advanced perception, Elena noticed something. Each time the alien vessels maneuvered, they emitted a specific energy signature, a pulse that seemed to coordinate their movements, and that pulse originated from the largest vessel, which had remained above the battlefield, directing the others. They have a command structure, she realized. Cut off the head, and the body dies. That's our target, she transmitted to the others. We need to take out the main vessel, but we'll need a distraction. A plan formed in her mind, desperate, with low odds of success, but better than a slow defeat. "Zhang, I need a complete analysis of their energy signatures. Find me a weakness, a frequency they're vulnerable to." Twins, status. Rhea is back online, Aisha reported, her Titan now standing again though noticeably damaged. "But our offensive capabilities are compromised." "That's fine. I need you two to create a diversion. Make them think we're attempting to retreat to the colony. Mendez, you'll provide cover fire." Freeman. She hesitated. Freeman's neural integration with Hyperion was still unstable, the conflicting personalities causing power fluctuations throughout the Titan. "Freeman, I need you to do something difficult. I need you to stop fighting Hyperion's consciousness." "What?" Freeman's shock was palpable through the link. "That madman will get us killed." "Perhaps," Elena acknowledged. "But right now, we need Hyperion's aggression, not your caution. Let him take control, temporarily. Channel that battle rage against the enemy." There was a long pause before Freeman responded. I understand. What's the play?" "You and I are going straight for the command vessel. Full offensive, no holding back. While the others keep the smaller vessels occupied, we punch through and take out their leader." "Suicide mission," Freeman said flatly. "Probably," Elena agreed. "Any objections?" None came. These people, these humans merged with ancient war machines, had accepted their duty. They would fight to the last to protect their species. "Zhang," Elena called. "Do you have anything for me?" "I've analyzed their energy signatures." Zhang's thoughts came rapidly, enhanced by Thea's calculating power. "They're using quantum entanglement for communication and coordination. Theoretically vulnerable to a targeted disruption at exactly 10⁻⁻43 Hz. But we'd need to get within 100 meters of the command vessel to deploy it effectively. Can you modify our shield emitters to generate that frequency?" "Already done," Zhang replied. "But Elena, there's something else. I've been scanning their communications. They're talking about us. Not as enemies, but as what? As potential. They keep using a concept I can't quite translate. The closest approximation is worthy vessels, or suitable carriers." A chill ran through Elena's consciousness, separate from the tactical calculations of Uranus. "What does that mean?" "I don't know," Zhang admitted, "but I don't think their primary objective is to destroy us. No time to analyze that now." The alien vessels were regrouping for another attack. "Execute the plan," Elena ordered. Now. The twins moved first, their Titans sprinting toward Mars colony in an apparent retreat. As expected, 3 of the alien vessels broke off to pursue them, weapons firing. Mendez moved Cronus to intercept, its massive shield arrays absorbing punishment that would have destroyed a smaller Titan. Meanwhile, Freeman finally surrendered to the Hyperion consciousness. The effect was immediate and terrifying. His Titan's reactor output doubled, energy crackling across its surface. With a roar that shook the Martian surface, Hyperion charged directly at the nearest alien vessel, weapons blazing. Elena used the chaos to begin her ascent, Orano's jump thrusters propelling the massive Titan upward toward the command vessel. The aliens, focused on the more immediate threats, didn't notice her approach until she was halfway to her target. Two vessels broke off to intercept her. Elena brought Orano's weapon systems online, firing a barrage that forced them to evade. She kept climbing, even as their return fire scored hits against her Titan's armor. Systems at 73% efficiency, Orano's consciousness reported in her mind. Sustainable damage. Below, Freeman was wreaking havoc, Hyperion's unleashed fury destroying one alien vessel and crippling another. But Elena could see the toll it was taking. The Titan's energy signature was becoming unstable, the conflicting consciousnesses pushing the machine beyond safe parameters. "Freeman, status," she called. His response came fragmented, his humanity barely audible beneath Hyperion's battle lust. "Can't hold much longer. Finish it." Elena pushed Oranos to its limits, accelerating toward the command vessel. The alien construct seemed to sense her intent, beginning to move away. But she was faster. At 300 meters, she activated the modified shield emitters, generating the disruption frequency Zhang had calculated. The effect was immediate. The alien vessel shuddered, its perfect geometric patterns faltering. The smaller vessels around the battlefield suddenly moved erratically, their coordination broken. "It's working," Elena transmitted, pressing attack. She closed the final distance, Orano's massive fists raised to strike the now vulnerable command vessel. But as she approached, something unexpected happened. The alien vessel opened, not like a ship or station, but like a flower blooming, its impossible geometry unfolding to reveal a core of pure energy that pulsed with intelligence. And from that core came a transmission, not in any human language, but directly into the merged consciousness of Elena and Oranos. At last, a worthy vessel. The words formed in her mind, alien yet comprehensible, carrying meanings beyond the simple syllables. "What are you?" Elena demanded, hovering before the open vessel, weapons still trained on its core. "We are TESERCGRS. We TEST. We find. We ascend." Images flooded Elena's consciousness, a galaxy of worlds, countless civilizations rising and falling. The searchers moving from system to system, challenging each species, searching for those who could fight back, who could demonstrate the necessary qualities. "What do you want from us?" "To elevate your kind is create true symbiosis between organic and cyan theeteki. This is the path forward. This is what at we AAVSOUGGT4 Nialianaya." Understanding dawned on Elena. The attack, the test, the careful study of the Titans, it hadn't been an invasion. It had been an audition. "The outpost," she transmitted. "The people you killed. Regioritavial. But nisi ssri tu provuoki, the response, to awaken your weapons, to see if you were ready." Fury rose in Elena, both human and Titan. "You murdered innocent people to test us. Your ANGER is AP propriat. Your desire to protect is woimu are worthy. We OFFER Kane and OWLEG. ADVNC protection from WHA COMES from beyond. More images, threats from outside the galaxy, horrors that made the searchers seem benevolent by comparison. ancient enemies that had driven the searchers to their endless quest for species capable of joining their fight. Below, the battle had paused. The smaller alien vessels had withdrawn from combat, hovering in a holding pattern. The Titans regrouped, damaged but functional, except for Hyperion. Freeman's Titan stood motionless, energy fluctuations cascading across its surface. "Freeman?" Elena called. No response. "Your companion's conscience is failing," the searcher communicated. "The symbiosis is unstable. We can assist." Elena felt torn between fury at these beings who had caused such destruction and the potential knowledge they offered. Knowledge that could save not just humanity but Freeman as well. "Why should we trust you?" she demanded. "Because you have no choice. What QMEs from Belondi, while no TTST, it while in low week goblin sumi. We OFFE the only path to survival. Except or fatis extinction. When they arrive, a decision point. Humanity's future hanging in the balance." Elena felt Arano's consciousness analyzing, calculating probabilities, examining every possible outcome. The original Admiral Chen's memories provided context, knowledge of how similar choices had shaped human history. "If we agree," Elena said finally, "you will restore Freeman. You will share your technology. You will never again sacrifice innocent lives in your tests. And Earth remains sovereign, free to choose its own path. Acceptable terms. The symbiosis is all TAATMATTERs. The rest is NEGOTIABL." Elena transmitted to the other Titans. "Stand down. We're negotiating." "Are you sure about this?" Zhang questioned. "They killed our people. And more will die if we reject them," Elena replied. "Sometimes the best victory is survival." She turned her attention back to the alien presence. "We accept your offer. Begin with healing our companion." A pulse of energy emanated from the searcher vessel, engulfing Hyperion. The erratic fluctuations stabilized, and after a moment, Freeman's consciousness returned to the link, confused but intact. What happened?" he asked. "We found a third option," Elena told him. "Neither victory nor defeat. Evolution." 3 months later, Elena stood in her human form on the observation deck of the newly constructed Symbiosis Center, watching as the first group of carefully selected candidates prepared to bond with newly created Titans. The process had been refined with the searcher's knowledge. No longer painful, no longer dangerous, but still transformative. Zhang joined her at the viewport, his eyes reflecting the same dual awareness he now carried always, human and Titan, separate but united. "Was it the right choice?" he asked quietly. Elena considered the question. Earth had been thrown into turmoil by the revelation of the Titans, the Searchers, and the greater cosmic threats that awaited. Political systems strained, religions questioned their fundamental tenets, ordinary people struggled to adapt to a universe far stranger and more dangerous than they had imagined. Yet humanity was adapting, as it always did. The Symbiosis program had thousands of volunteers. The Searchers had shared technologies that were already solving energy crises, environmental damage, disease. And the Titans, both the original 6 and the new generation now being created, stood ready to defend Earth against whatever might come next. "I don't know if it was right," Elena answered honestly, "but it was necessary. And perhaps that's enough." In her mind, Orano's consciousness stirred in agreement. The ancient machine, once a weapon of